Hello, CRPHA. This video is going to be a fairly short one, possibly. But two things. Here is the reason why Jerry Brown should be impeached. He has done many things, as all of us already know, but he's promised us many things, just like Obama promised us many things and never delivered. The basic fact is, ladies and gentlemen, is that the liberal idiot Jerry Brown, and who was known again as Jerry MoonBeam Brown in the 1970s, that that he would help create jobs, help with the state's economy, and various other things. He hasn't done neither. All he's done is he's implemented a high tax plan, and everybody, including the media, tore that to shreds. And yet that was eventually put on the back burner. Then, while he was in the back burner, he tried to implement a high-speed train, which basically, as everybody knows, is costing the state way more than it can logically afford. And yet it's still upsetting to many people in Sacramento, California, that it's only going from LA to Frisco. Why have a high speed train to go that short of a distance when it's going to be way shorter time for it to be down there, instead of it going from Sacramento to the city and part of the Bay Area of San Francisco? And yet it, but yet it's costing the state of California more and more money. And now Jerry Brown is expecting the federal government to pay for it by trying to go through Trump on that. But yet here's another one. He wants that. He he then advertised with himself on it. Um, he advertised for our schools to have the California schools to have more funding for youth's education and for the schools in general. Then, right when that legislation was about to be voted upon by the citizens of California, except for yours truly, because I knew that he was going to do this one thing, in which I will bring up in a minute here. And that one thing is that while it was being voted upon, it was about to pass under the legislation of helping the California schools and our youth and the youth's education, the youth of California's education. He went behind closed doors and used a legislative loophole. This is what Jerry Brown did. Jerry Brown literally went behind closed doors and used a legislative loophole and changed it from the school funding to where his high tax plan would pass under Prop 39. And nobody except for yours truly was any of the wiser. And of course, the day or so before, the day or so after, actually, the Sacramento Bee did a moderate-sized article about it. Who did think a liberal newspaper would put words against very the very person and party that it supports? Just like the Carmichael Times does support the liberal idiot Democratic leftist liberal party. Let's see now. Let's see, with the fact that we got federal funding currently, he's deciding to use only a percentage towards one particular thing, which it wasn't really given to the state for that reason. Instead of putting it for the repair of the flood due to the flood that we had semi recently in the state of California, he's using it. Only a percentage goes to a different thing, and I know the rest goes into his little pocket along with his other liberal idiot buddies' pockets on top of that. This should easily give Trump a reason to have somebody over here that's within the same party as Trump went under, and make sure that Jerry Brown essentially uses it for what it was given to the state of California for, starting with when it comes to repair and relief of flooding. And get this, right after the fact that Jerry Brown was so unhappy that his party, being Hillary Rodham Clinton, did not win the presidential election, because obviously every liberal idiot thought the American people were dumb, dim-witted dumbasses, and since they're thinking that Hillary Clinton had a path and a clear path and vision for our youth and this country, she didn't. And I explained that about to. I tried to do my best to explain it to a dumbass. Of course, that one I told you about in one of my other videos. But in any case, he kept on vocalizing against Trump, and his next action that he essentially put together with his other constituents that are not within the capital, but they are within the county and city and states in the state of California. It doesn't. I'm not gonna reveal the state, the city or county, but I know where it is and where this schmuck was. He he helped to implement the Exit California. And do you realize that they want to reinstate that? And do you realize it will not change the negative cause and effect? That if the state of California turns itself into a sanctuary state, therefore closing itself off from the U.S. government and the U.S. federal government and the rest of the United States in general. And aside from the fact that it is seen by the orchestrators and organizers and construction planners of such thing, being of course the Exit California, it's seen as a safety net for the illegals. Wrong. And it's unconstitutional. But of course, not one liberal, not one liberal has seen things that are reality within thought and in within what's around them. All they see is what they want to see. They don't care if it's unconstitutional. Proof Obama. They don't care if it's unconstitutional in any level and on whatever they try to implement. Proof Hillary and Obama and now Jerry Brown. Jerry Brown and the idiot liberals do not realize that the state of California will not receive any federal funding for earthquake repair and relief, flood repair and relief, any other thing. It doesn't matter what the hell happened to within the state we will not get that within the state of California, they will not get any funding. So they had to take what Trump says by his word, because he said obviously that the state of California, if they turn it into a sanctuary state, and this includes every other state that tries to turn itself into a sanctuary state, will not receive any federal funding, meaning the idiot Jerry Brown won't be able to try to sneak around and use the money that he's using the current federal funding for his constituents and himself to put a larger percentage in their pockets for themselves and their little selfish little bullshit, and only a moderate large percentage for whatever the hell that Jerry Brown decides to put it towards and not towards the repair of the flooding and relief, the repair and relief due to the flooding in the state of California. Therefore, that right there, ladies and gentlemen, should tell you how much they think about the American people and their safety. They don't think about the safety of the American people in the state of any state that they govern, and are supposed to be supporting their citizens for and of and within the state of each one, starting with California as well as New York. So Jerry Brown should be impeached for those reasons alone. And now, as it stands with another one, Jerry Brown has put a $15 million budget expand legal defense service. That $50 million could easily go for the schools. That $50 million can easily go towards the repair and relief for the flood of the flooding. That $50 million can also simply go for many other things, including preparedness of for earthquakes and many other things. But does Jerry Brown think of that? No. He wants to defend and protect the ones that the liberals feel that will give them a better chance to be voted in a higher stance, being, of course, the White House to start with. And guess what? That's unconstitutional, and it's not logical. And of course, after JFK, John F. Kennedy Jr., essentially, not one Democrat has thought logically anyway. And first case, Obama. Second case, Hillary. Third case, Jerry Brown. Of course, in between those two, the first two, Jimmy Carter before Reagan. And let's see, it says, let's see, financial aid for those in country illegally to $33 million immigrant rights groups. Lawyers hailed to increase funding, saying it's a sign that state is committed to protecting families, and that even that $33 million can go for the schools and our youth's education. That $33 million can go for the repair and relief of the funding of the flooding, and also it can go for the preparedness of the earthquake that California is said to still possibly still have at some point. But instead he wants to use it for an unconstitutional reason by keeping the illegals in the state of California. I'm not against the illegals as human beings, because they are Heavenly Father's children. One, but the state of California can do one thing that Jerry Brown hasn't even thought of, and I believe I've mentioned it before in one of my videos. They could, and it doesn't cost the state no $15 million or $33 billion, even for that matter, $1 million, to do this. They can easily make it to where the illegals that are currently in the state of California to become legal citizens. There's ways to do it without costing the state $15 million or $33 million on something that's wasteful and not logical to use and unconstitutional. But this basic fact is that doesn't say, well, let's keep the door open for more illegals to where we can do the same thing. No. If Jerry Brown tried to enforce that, he has to be out of office. And for what it says, according to this, the one thing I read just about a minute ago here was from ABC 10 Sacramento, the liberal American Broadcasting Company type news station for Sacramento, News 10, which was known as also News10.net years ago. They had this they had the thing on the post that it would easily do exactly what he's planning to do. 33 million, think about that. 33 million could easily help our states, the California state education, which would basically help our youth in the state of California to have a better and brighter future. Same thing with the 50 million. That can also go towards other programs and hospitals and clinics within the state of California. But does Jerry Brown even have inclination up in his little empty head of that logical, of that basic and true and factual logic? No. He thinks by keeping the illegals in the state of California is way more important than what's more substantial, logical, and way more fucking important for the legal California citizens and the youth of the state of California. That right there is why Jerry Brown, that's another reason why Jerry Brown should be impeached as well. He's building reasons upon reason upon reason of why to be impeached. I've already CRPHA has already said that the dude's gone senile. If you look it up on Facebook, you'll see what I'm talking about. Of why CRPHA considers him to be going 100% fucking senile, and this is not one. This is not just one of them. There's several others, and I named a number of them. The high tax plan for one. The high-speed train, which is costing the state way more money than it can truly logically afford, is another. Getting his way and thinking that the liberals have more say so than the people who actually live in the state of California and who he's supposed to be working and defending and working for in the state, which are the American people and the citizens of the state that are not within the Capitol building, that do not work in the Capitol building to start with. If Jerry Brown continuously does what he's been doing, where he thinks that the citizens of California have to deal with it whether they like it or not, then he needs to be out of office. He needs to be literally pulled out of office, and if he doesn't declare that he's stepping down, he will be impeached. And we are going to call, we at CRPHA will call for his impeachment, because his actions are not showing any logical actions or steps or factual reasons for anything. He hasn't done anything to favor and benefit the legal citizens of California. He hasn't done anything to help the state of California logically. He hasn't done anything to even show any logical support and backing for the state of California and its legal citizens. And if he continues down that road, I will tell you straight up, CRPHA, and I hope that every other advocate group will back me up on this, that we will call for his impeachment. Thereby, Jerry Brown will be impeached if he goes down the same track. That means if he doesn't want to be impeached, he better start doing logical things for our youth in the state of California, for the state of California in general, for the citizens of the state of California, for the elderly in the state of California, for our disabled and handicapped in the state of California, for the mentally disabled and retarded and what have you. But excuse me for using that word, but it's been used way too much. But the mentally handicapped in a way of putting it. And also, he needs to do things for our teenagers, and he needs to do something for our adults who are also trying to raise and support their own families, both single and married. That includes getting jobs in here, not factory type jobs, actual jobs, like retail and what have you else. The only way he's going to be able to do that is dropping his high tax plan, for one, because it's hurting the state of California. It's not helping the state of California. The only thing that the high tax plan is really helping is his little leftist liberal democratic constituents and their pockets. So is the money that I mentioned that ABC News 10 Sacramento mentioned in the post I saw, that I read a portion of. It's only helping him and his liberal buddies in a illogical, irrational, not reasonable essentially, and unconstitutional way. It was stupid the fact that Jerry Brown smiled and thought when everybody was clapping when he came out, he smiled thinking, "Oh, this is what the American people wanted of the state of California." What they truly wanted my high tax plan to pass. They didn't really care about the youth getting any better education and the schools getting any funding to provide that. Wrong, Jerry Brown. You did something that the American people of this state of California did not realize that you were doing. The only one that knew that you were going to do that sort of action was me. I knew you, Jerry Brown, were going to do the sneaky little thing by going behind your little closed doors, your little cocoon, as it were, going right into going into a little legislative loophole and changing the Prop 39, which was logically for the school's education for our youth and the school's funding to help provide a better education, which would lead to a better future for our youth. But no, that's you didn't think of that. You don't care about that. You only wanted what you wanted. You knew that the damn high tax plan was unpopular with the fact that the liberal media, conservative media, and moderate media were tearing the damn thing apart by itself. You couldn't even accept that, could you? But get this, Jerry Brown, the damn thing is not helping the state of California. It's only helping you and your pockets. And if that's all you care about, that's another reason why you should be impeached, besides the other things I mentioned on this video. And if you keep on going down that track, Jerry Brown, you will be impeached. And I will stand with everyone who has any common sense to make sure and to call for your impeachment, Jerry Brown. So you better think about what you do and the consequences that you will be causing, which are not always positive, especially with what your actions have been showing essentially. You may have said a lot of positive things during your commencement speech after being elected into office, but the same thing goes for anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter if you're in a political office or not. You say what you're going to do, you got to back that up. If it's everything positive for the state and the citizens of and the youth of the state, you better back that up and quit going for what you want and what you believe that the state wants or needs or whatever the hell else. And if you're truly unwilling to do that, then you should step the fuck down or get impeached. I have lived in the state of California way too long to watch it being torn apart by idiot liberals such as yourself, Jerry Brown. And I'm not about to watch the country being torn apart either. That's why I'm 100% behind Trump. And I don't care who people vote for. Like I said in my other video, I am going to stand by who I vote for. And I am going to stand by what I said about each liberal. And nobody can take my right away by that. And of course, that's another thing, too. Hillary Clinton would have easily taken our rights away, ladies and gentlemen, where we would have to literally kiss the liberal ass to keep our rights and freedoms the way they are currently. They don't want us to know that, but it's the damn truth. That would have started with the fact of the Fourth Amendment, which was said that Hillary Clinton was about to tear out of the so-called secretly and so graciously tear out the Constitution, which would have been a major unconstitutional act on her part. And it is true that she did not have, and she never really had, a clear path, no matter what people think or say, no matter what the dumbass who I dealt with that one time over the Bus 25 route by Safeway thought or even voiced out. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about anyway. So in short, Jerry Brown, either do things logically for the state of California and its citizens and the youth, or get the fuck out of office or be impeached. Because if you continuously go down the negative path that you're going, you will not last in my in my state's office for very long, and I will make sure of it. If you guys want to know more, please let me know. Thank you. Have a good day. May Heavenly Father bless the United States of America.